People ain't loyal no more. It's time to talk. Jakki, welcome to Beyond Loyalty. Thank you for accepting my invitation. We only known each other for a while, couple months probably, where we met in the first networking event. Then we met in a second networking event. We had a chat and we actually found out that we've got a lot in common, business-wise, core values, and yeah, I'm positive there will be business that we will do together. So welcome and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you for inviting me, and yes, I am sure we will be doing stuff together moving forward.
Let's start from the beginning. Your first experience in work, did you start working for someone or did you have a business straight away?
No, my first foray into work was when I was 12. I lived in a very little village, so there wasn't a lot to do. And we had a local pub, really nice restaurant. So I started as a pot washer. And I did that from 12 until I was 16, when I left school and took over the running of the restaurant. And I considered myself very lucky, but it was also hard work. And I think that's why I was given the opportunity. I loved it, but I was also exhausted. And I think every child in the universe should leave school and go into catering first. Because if you can make it in catering,
you can make it anywhere.
You can make it anywhere. And it does enough give you a really, really good work ethic.
I agree. I've done kitchen porter role for probably a year as a second job. I had a first job which was warehousing 8 hours, and then I was going to Holiday Inn for 4 to 6 hours after that. 2 jobs. But like you said, it gave me a discipline and it taught me some lessons.
The biggest one it taught me was, and I know it's cliche, but you're only as good as the last meal you put on that table. And if you remember that for everything you do, then you bring the same element of expertise, professionalism, etc. to every single thing you do, because you know you're being judged on that one meal.
Yeah. Interesting.
So for me, yeah, that was where I started, and that's what gave me the work ethic.
It's important to learn work ethic, attitude, right attitude, and graft. Because then you can apply it, like you said, to different things. It's a copy and paste exercise.
Too few people for me now, this is sounding very sweeping, but too few people, maybe it's just me being old, have got that same work ethic. I think so many people now, especially, and sounds really mean, but the younger generation, because they are used to the computer, because they're used to having everything on the phone, because they're used to having everything at their fingertips, I think will struggle moving forward as and when and if they need to get into that real hard physical work. And I think that's certainly where I'm struggling with things like trades. Don't know if you're doing the same, probably jumping ahead a bit here, but that's where I find it hard with the trades at the moment. They don't want to work. They want to work, but they want to work behind a computer.
Right. So let's move on from that. Where did you end up after catering?
Well, that was my grounding, and I then did a few other jobs until I got to the point where I really don't want to work for somebody else. And I went into business with somebody I'd known for a while. We bought and created a print business, actual hard copy print. And I loved it. We'd been doing direct mail going back a long time ago, and it was the lowest form of advertising at the time. Now it's probably the best thing you can do because nobody else is writing letters.
It still works?
Absolutely. If I get a letter on the mat, it's very, very rare now, so I read it. Most of them are bills. So we were in direct mail. I'd started working with him, doing the sales and marketing for him. we set up the business, the print business, but then he wanted to go one direction with the business and wanted to go big shiny machines and millions of copies of everything and throw it into the ether. For me, I felt things were going more targeted, and I would rather send out 1,000 letters and get 1,000 responses than send out 1,000,000 and get 5. So we parted our ways, and that was one of the first oh my god moments. What have I done? Because it was a pretty much instant decision. It had been mulling over for a while, and then it was, what do I do now? So I went home. It was about 3 weeks before Christmas, as you do. And it was, well, what do I do now? So thought process was, I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I will do what I said I was going to do. I will go small. So I started small on my kitchen table and set up a little business that was supposed to keep me busy, just slightly busy. Fast forward 15 years. I'd been running it with my husband, who I pulled out of shipbuilding because I couldn't manage the business on my own anymore. And we ran the company for 15 years, overall 20, but 15 years, probably a little bit more than that, 18 years. And
was it the distribution?
It was distribution. It was third-party logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So we would, I guess, a mini Amazon. We held our clients' stock. So, as I said earlier, one of our biggest clients was Nintendo. So we did all of their advertising material, point of sale material, etc. And we would hold their stock, and we would pick, pack and post it as people place their orders. So it was quite an intense business. It was a very successful business, and we grew very, very quickly early on. And we then got to a point where we decided we wanted to go the very next step. We were turning over about 5 million, wanted to double it over the next 3 years. We knew that we didn't have the contacts for the financials to bring in investors at that point. Didn't realise what you could do until now, what you can do to get investors, but we'll go on to that. So we were given a consultant from our bank, and he came in, city gent, talked the talk, didn't walk the walk, because 8 months later the company was on its knees, and he'd embezzled just over £250,000. So we went from a very, very successful company where we would take chunks of cash out to put into property, which is how I started in property, to a company that was literally on its knees.
Was he stealing money or?
Yeah. He was, long story, but short version is he put himself onto, gave himself a company credit card, put himself on as a signatory. If anybody wants to know how that happened so that I can stop it happening for them, just give me a call, because if I could bottle what I learnt over that next 18 months, I'd make a fortune. He did all sorts of things that fraudsters do that you do not realise, and it's all so slow.
But I guess
slow.
he did it legal way. He knew the ways how to do it.
Knew exactly what he was doing.
All right.
Knew exactly what he was doing, and did it very cleverly, very professionally. We ended up finding it out. I found it.
So what was his role? To improve the business?
His role was to improve the business, find investors to expand our business.
Okay, I get
take
it.
our business to the city.
And he brought it to its knees.
And he brought it to its knees very successfully.
That's crazy.
We managed to get rid of him with the help of the police. We took him to court. We couldn't take him to court, but we took his assistant to court, who had been assisting him to embezzle. We won the case, and she went bankrupt the following day, which is what we thought would happen, but we still got that tick in the box, if you like. He has gone on to do it since, and we have tried to stop it, but you can only do so much. And it's wasted energy chasing after things that you can't do anything about. So we've done as much as we can. So fast forward from there, the business is still running. It's not running with us. It's running with somebody else. We moved on. We actually moved to Canada because we knew so many people in our area. We employed a lot of people. So everywhere we went, we were known. So we wanted to go somewhere where we weren't. So we moved to Canada. My husband went back into shipbuilding, and over there I was a business coach, and I worked for the government over there in Halifax in Nova Scotia. And I worked mainly with turnarounds, companies that were struggling, companies that wanted to grow. Do we put the keys on the table and run, or do we think we can salvage this? And the majority we managed to salvage. Some really good wins, and some that are still going now that were on their knees. And I think when you've been through something, and you I think will associate with this, when you've been through something like a fraud, when you've had to do forensic accounting to get right into the absolute depths of a business, it puts you in a very good position to be able to help others that are struggling, because you know what to look for.
Yeah.
You know what to look for. You know where
You
to
already
find it.
experienced that.
And people trust you because you've been there. It's all very say, oh, well, I know how you feel. No, you don't. Well, actually, yes, I do. And this is why. And I think that gives you a certain amount of rapport with people when you're talking business growth, where they're going right, where they're going wrong, where they could improve. So that's the sort of thing I love doing. Give me a business to work with to help them improve it and grow it. I'm in nirvana.
Brilliant. So did you have to close this business afterwards, after this bitter experience? That distribution business?
We closed it with the help of a buyer, if that makes sense. So it was phoenixed, so they did take it down and bring it back up again. It's still called the same name. It's still going, and it's still got some of the original clients.
Brilliant.
World Wildlife Fund was was my first client, and they're still there now. So that's 25 years later. So it's not bad going. Do I miss it? Yes, in some ways, but no in others, because I've just found challenges elsewhere. And when we came back from Canada, that was a challenge, because I took over a distribution centre for a very large corporate packaging company, and the distribution centre I took over to run was failing a little, and my job was to turn it round, grow it, and bring it up to scratch, which I did, and then got moved about a year and a half, 2 years later, to another one of their distribution centres, and then got asked to crash 2 distribution gates, funnily enough, in Wigan. So I had to take the Wigan branch, took the Wigan branch and the Manchester branch and pushed those together, which was challenging. 20 million turnover all told, and taking two companies or 2 businesses that were the same company, run similarly but very, very different in character, and trying to crash those 2 together.
Why was that? Because of people who were running it? Different.
It all comes down to people, doesn't it? So
in most cases, yes.
You've got the same shell.
Yeah.
And you've got the same structure.
Same film, different actors.
Oh, perfect. Perfect analogy. Exactly that. And then when you take those different actors and that same film and say, right, now go into it together and make it work the same. Yeah, right, doesn't work. So that was a challenge. I had some fantastic people. We lost some fantastic people, unfortunately, because of where we moved it to. But that was a challenge that I really enjoyed. I love project managing. And
so that's where you found the passion to help people and help businesses to grow. And brilliant.
I like seeing the successes. I like seeing what people consider are failures. They're not, they're just a learning curve.
Lessons.
And helping them see see those lessons for what they are, and then help
as
them
a stepping
overcome
stone.
them. Absolutely. Help them overcome them and help them get rid of the blocks, work out how to get out there and grow their business, and then grow themselves.
The next after that, so did you come back to UK from the Canada? What made you to come back to UK? You missed it?
Number of things really. Missed family.
Yeah.
So we came back with family, and I'm glad we did when we did, especially when COVID hit.
So you spent about 4 years in Canada?
We spent 4 years in Canada, yeah. When we came back, we literally came back in the... I came back in the January. My other half, Chris, came back in the September, and COVID hit, and the lockdown hit in the March. So our timing was...
ideal, or
it was ideal because he ended up coming back to a job in Morecambe. I was down in Sussex. Perfect marriage. But he moved in with his mum, who was on her own, and that meant that she didn't spend COVID living on her own, which she would have done had we not come back then. So for me, that was pretty priceless. But also, Nova Scotia's a lovely place, but we're from away. It was like living in Cornwall 30 years ago.
Okay.
Everything was barter, and then they don't understand quite why they haven't got an economy. I probably shouldn't say that. Cut. But it was hard work over there. They didn't quite understand how the economy could grow if they thought slightly bigger, rather than the colloquial, almost village-style businesses.
Get it.
So we came... The people were lovely. I miss the people, and I certainly miss the scenery.
The scenery.
So I came back to the packaging company. It was an opportunity that we couldn't miss. And then I loved doing the packaging, and it was a good job. It was hard work, and I got as frustrated as I did excited over it. And it was on a particularly bad day that I saw an advert for property. We've always done property, right? I bought my first property age 18, £28,000. It's worth over £500,000 now. Don't you wish you'd kept it? It's in a perfect position. It was down in Dorking in Surrey, so that is big commuter belt. So I look at it now and go, I wish. But that was my first bug. My parents bought a 2-bedroom bungalow, and we turned it into a 6-bedroom huge mansion with lake and all sorts in it. So I've always had that bug. So when I saw this property thing, I thought, let's go and have a look. So I did. That's when my first foray into progressive property and learning how to do property properly. Because there's doing property and there's doing property.
Yeah,
and
two different things.
Always doing it wrong. So fast forward, I did that course. Then I did another course. The first course was on deal packaging, and I did it. And then I did absolutely nothing with it for 2 years. Really excited, bit like you, read all the books, and you get the bug, and you start, and you read, and you read, and you mop up everything. And then it was, what am I going to do with this? I've either got to do something or I've got to stop doing it, because it was just blowing my head. I've got so much knowledge, but I didn't quite know what to do with it all. And then Chris, my other half, couldn't quite grasp why I was so excited about property, and he kept saying, well, we haven't got the money. We haven't got the money. I know we haven't got the money, but we can do it. No, we can't. We haven't got the money. So it was trying to get him to change his mindset. That was really hard. And I think if I could bottle that knowledge as well and put that out into every school, so that every school could understand Robert Kiyosaki's view on
Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Debt. Rich Dad Poor Dad, best book in the bloody world. Sorry, not allowed to swear. but best book in the world. And I would like every child in the universe to have one of those because it would change their mindset. So I made him read the book. He still didn't quite get it. So I took him to a multiple streams of property income meet at Progressive Property. I said, "You're coming? Not buying anything. Credit cards in their pocket. That's it, but just come and listen." By the end of the first morning, we'd bought a course for us to go on the BRRR, buy, rent, refurbish, refinance, and I had been put onto the Progressive Property Academy. That's the power of, one, Progressive Properties presenting, so they're very good at that, and selling, but two, the power of the mindset and the mindset change. And from that day onwards, it changed everything that we had got lined up for what we were going to do in the future.
So you started sourcing properties afterwards?
Started sourcing properties, started working with other people to help them. And I suppose, like we've said before, you learn so much, and I had learnt so much over that period that I found people coming to me to say, "Well, what if I do this? And look, Jakki, I'm stuck on this. Look, have you got any idea how I can create something that works for this?" And I found myself doing more working with people to help them overcome their thought process or a problem with a property, or how could I structure this deal? And I got that more and more and more. And I was helping people at work, at my day job, with their properties and finding properties for them and them buying properties, both residential and otherwise. And I loved that. I really loved that. So a year ago, July, we parted company, and I took the big scary step of going back into business again on my own. And it was a big scary step because I was earning serious money doing what I was doing, and serious bills to go with it. And suddenly it was, okay, no income, but I've still got the same lifestyle. I've still got the same bills to pay.
I know the feeling.
Exactly that. And to be fair, it's been very up and down. And you'll know through sourcing that you can have a really, really, really good month. And on one particular month,
even couple months.
Yeah.
Some good flow. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one month where I took more in 1 month than I did in my previous salary in half a year.
Yeah.
And then I'd go for 3-4 months and nothing would come in and go, okay, it will.
It's okay. It's coming.
So I think anybody that, one of my biggest frustrations, and you probably associate with this as well, certainly on deal sourcing, are the number of training companies that say it's an entry level. You can get into property just doing deal sourcing. You can be sipping your daiquiri on the Bermuda beach in 6 months' time. And
there is more into
so
it.
isn't.
There is more into it. I mean, you will never ever build relationship with local estate agents if you're not professional.
No.
First of all, you will never ever build relationship with solicitors if you're not professional, because they don't want to work with unprofessionals.
No.
You know, I don't want to slag people off, but there are some deal sourcers that are actually and literally joke.
Yes, there are.
Sending messages. I had so many screenshots taken of the property outside, not having a full address, nothing that I could do some due diligence. Yeah. I could even see the state of their battery because they were that thick that they didn't even cut that picture off, and because of these people, there are many good deal sources who are embarrassed to say they are deal sources because of the amount of dickheads that are in this industry, and that's reality. I'm sorry to say that, but that is reality. Because I am one of them, their deal sources. At the moment, I'm building a estate agency, so we sell on the market as well. It's not just sourcing anymore. But at the point when I was sourcing only, sometimes I was embarrassed to say I'm a deal sourcer. I was saying I'm a deal maker or
Property agent.
property agent or broker,
Yeah.
rather than saying deal sourcer, because
not another
that
bloody deal
name
sourcer.
was connected to some of the people who I don't want to be surrounded with. I don't want to be in those circles.
I mean, one of the things that I do is I'm a professional speaker, and I speak on two things. I speak on deal sourcing and networking. And my deal sourcing is busting the myths of deal sourcing and deal sourcers. Because exactly that, less than 90% of deal sourcers, I put that in inverted commas, in this country are registered. Less than 99%, significantly less than 99%, are NAPSA registered, National Association of Professional Sourcing Agents. Try saying that when you've had a few. There are very, very few that are. And Tina and Tony, who run NAPSA, created NAPSA, created it for this very reason. And I am on an absolute mission to help them and help our industry, clean up our industry, get rid of the idiots out there that just keep sending people a picture of a property on Rightmove and then saying, where's my £3,000, please?
Yeah.
Not understanding due diligence, not understanding compliance, not understanding, and okay, anti-money laundering is a buzzword at the moment, but over 30% of fraud in the UK, of money laundering in the UK, is through property. That is a scary number, over 30%. So if you're not compliant, if you're not doing your due diligence, if you're not checking where the money's coming from, and you're just going to send people screenshots of stuff on Rightmove, then you're going to attract the idiots. And last year was quite a year for it for me, I had to help, I didn't have to. I helped 3 investors that had been stung by bad deal sourcers, one of which is now living in Bali on everybody else's money. But I helped 3 of them extract themselves from the SH1T that their deal sourcer had left them in. And that's unacceptable. And by the way, I don't charge for that. If somebody's in that sort of problem through another deal sourcer, I will work with you. I will work to help you get out. And also try and make sure that they don't do it again. So for me, that's one of my passions at the moment. I teach deal sourcing. And
call out the idiots.
And call out the idiots. I teach compliant deal sourcing.
Yeah.
How to make yourself compliant and stay compliant. And all the fun bits as well, is how to find properties and
deals and everything.
And how to stack
how to
deals.
Communicate with people. It's all about, even negotiation. In my personal opinion, every sale is about building relationship.
Yep. 100%
With the vendor, the better relationships I built, the more properties was coming my way. That's reality.
I went to 2 meetings yesterday with 2 people I've known, and I've met one of them once, but we've started building the rapport over LinkedIn and what have you, and they've been watching my profile, watching what I've been doing, and I walked away yesterday with one of them. I have no doubt will buy one of the many properties I've got, because he's looking to build his portfolio, and another one I'm looking at buying a business that he brought to the table that's got 4 properties in it.
Interesting.
So those wouldn't have happened if I wasn't out there networking, which is one of my other passions. We'll get onto that in a minute. But if I wasn't out there talking to people, talking to the right people, being introduced, and building those relationships, you wouldn't get the properties, and you 100%. Wouldn't get the investors, because it's all about trust.
Yeah, definitely.
Trust and integrity.
Networking. Let's tap into that.
That's
where we met. That's where we met.
We did.
It was the first one. Where was it? Which one was it? Was it business networking?
It was business networking, yeah. It was
Simon Edmondson?
Simon Edmondson, who I love to bits. And
I've got podcasts coming out with him as well.
Oh, that's good, because I
Yeah.
have as well. And the reason I have is I'm looking to work with Simon to set up a new networking group in Preston. And it's slightly different. We're not working on the basis of let's go and do our 60 seconds and shake hands and work around the table, throw bits of paper at each other and everybody leave and not do anything further. I want to create it so that people, and I know that Simon does this to a degree at the moment with Colony, where people have the one-to-ones in the room, in the meeting, and they have time to talk to each other properly. But I also want to use it as an opportunity to train people on networking, because so many people do not know how to make the best out of networking. And so that for me is my other passion. So deal sourcing, compliance and doing is one passion. My other passion, big passion, always has been, is networking relationships.
You never know who you meet, you know.
And we met each other for quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was a good half a year or even more probably. And then we met on another one.
On the next one at a different place.
Was it Simon's as well?
Yeah, it was Simon's again.
It was
Simon's again, but it was that, and we both told ourselves off for not following up properly. Hear me banging on about that when
we had conversation on WhatsApp afterwards. But,
we did, but
then, you know, when you meet 15 people, let's face reality, you're not going to do business with them 15 people, with every single one of them.
No, you're not. And I think there's so many myths around networking, and so many people turn up to networking events expecting to do business with everybody in the room straight away. And if they don't, well, why don't you? Do you not like me? And it's not. It's about being ever present, and not necessarily all the time, every meeting, but to be consistent. And it was that consistency that brought us back together again. Building those relationships and working out who in the room that you really want to work with. And potentially not just the people in the room, but the people in the room contacts. Their contacts and who they know.
100%.
Though that's the bit that people make the mistake of.
There might be a person in a business that doesn't have anything to do with the property, but they may know 10 landlords who want to sell their portfolios, for example.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly. Tell everybody what you do all the time, every time.
What I started doing, I've got VA, my virtual assistant, and every time I go to some networking and there is a list with emails, we send an email that day. Just a reminder, what we do, I put the link of this podcast as well. Whoever wants, they can watch it. They will get to know a little bit more about myself. But there is a brief info about what I do in terms of the property. Couple sentences, nothing. No one's going to read, A4 page. But you have to remind yourself sometimes as well, because when you meet 20 to 30 people in the room, it's hard to, some people will resonate and you will leave and you will say yourself, like I did, oh, Jakki, I need to message her, because obviously she is in the property. We are in the same game. I've got deals. She might have buyers for. She's got deals. I have.
We'll talk about those afterwards.
Buyers for, and I knew that there is big possibility to do the business together.
Yep.
So, but there are other maybe 25 who are in completely different businesses, but those people have people in their circles as well. It's just that big network.
It is, and it's, for me, it's...
At Rainbow Northwest, we make real estate effortless. Whether you're looking to sell on the market, off-market through our exclusive investor database, or via auction, we've got you covered. Plus, we offer top-notch property and project management, including refurbishment for investors. We can help you to build your own portfolio. Let us help you on your real estate journey. Rainbow Northwest, your trusted real estate business partner.
I guess I call myself a connector because that's what I do. When I talk to people, I'm listening to see, one, what they do, but first and foremost, how can I help them? And as I'm listening to them, I'll think of people that I can connect them with that I think would help them, or they would help somebody else. And it's that awareness of the people in your network that you could bring to the table so that you could help your network of people, but also help these new people that you've just met. One of my biggest slogan, statement, brain, whatever you want to call it, is the more you help people, the more people want to help you. And that's a double one, because it's the more you help people, it's the more people, as in the number of people that will want to help you, but the more people want to help you, as in each individual person. So it's sort of double meaning on that. And for me, just reminding myself and reminding other people of that. People get fed up with listening to it, but it's true. If you help someone, and Ivan Meisner put this really, really clearly and well, and he puts this right the way through BNI. I'm a great BNIer. But the giver's gain, the more you give, the more you get back. Because if you help someone, you start to build a relationship, and they want to help back.
Yeah.
They want to find something they can do for you. And it's not necessarily that you'll do business with them, but you'll do business with someone they know.
Someone they know. Yeah, I agree. Would you say that you found your thing throughout the career and to help people?
Yes, that's
your mission.
That's probably my biggest
Passion.
nemesis,
Yeah.
as well as my biggest passion.
Yeah.
Because I say yes too often.
Okay.
I shouldn't. But yeah, helping people, certainly on the understanding. Networking's fun.
Yeah.
My husband
Can
would
be
rather
fun.
put pins in his eyes than go to a networking event, which isn't very good for somebody who trains people how to do networking. But it's not something that rocks his boat. And if he can have me as front of house doing it, as you know, I'm the gobby cow, so he's quite happy with that. But so many people are frightened of networking when actually, if they just stopped and thought, they network every day. You go in and you put fuel in your car, you go and pay for it, you're networking with that person at the counter. You go into Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, whichever is your want.
You're talking to
You
the
get to the-
salesperson.
Yeah, you get to the checkout, and it's amazing.
So what do you
people in the
think
checkout.
is that? Is that the self-confidence?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I going to be judged? What are people thinking about me? What do I say? What's that person going to think about what I'm going to say? I haven't got anything to talk about. It's natural. It's human nature. And quite often when I do my 60 seconds or 45 seconds when I go to a networking event, instead of standing up and saying, "Hi, I'm Jakki, I do X, Y, Z," I said, imagine walking into a room full of 100 people that you don't know what to say, don't know how to say it, you don't even know what the structure of the meeting's going to be like. And that fear of who do I talk to, and the real desire to just turn and run. Then look at it slightly differently and imagine walking into that room, seeing that 100 people and saying, "Wow, I'm really looking forward to connecting with these." And that's the difference between walking into that room before you meet me and walking into that room after.
Mindset.
How you conduct
thing.
yourself. It is. I'm not necessarily confident every time I walk into a room full of 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people. But if you tell your brain as you walk in there, "I own this place. I am the host. I'm not a guest."
And you will own it.
You own it. You walk in with a completely different demeanour.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I can give people on today, if they're listening, is, well, they wouldn't hear it if they weren't listening, is when you walk into that room next time, walk in there with that slightly different mindset. Walk in as if you are the host. You're throwing this party, and therefore everybody in that room is going to want to shake your hand and say hi. It will just totally transform the way you walk into that room and how you
Boost the
engage
confidence.
with people. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And don't
100%.
sell.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that really frustrates
The
the hell out of
sale
me.
is happening by itself if you do it right.
Yeah.
Like Marcus Elwell, who was here, I'm just at the beginning of his book, probably, I don't know, 1/4, but he's so right. I agree with everything what he says. Sale is not about script and structure. It's about building relationships.
It's
Just
problem
show
solving.
people who you are, and people will buy from you.
It's relationships and problem solving.
Yeah.
You're not, and it's the old adage of sell this pen to me. It's not, here's a pen, it's black, it's, the ink's wonderful and it flows underwater. It's, you take the pen, say, oh, can you just write your name and address down for me, please? Well, I can't, I haven't got a pen. Oh, I've got one. That was the, going back years, was the way that it was taught. But it's not, it's about, it is about that to a degree, because it's problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
If you can identify, and we know this in property, if you can identify the problem a vendor has got, then you'll be able to buy their house.
Mm-hmm.
In some way, shape or form,
Yep.
you will be able to buy their house, because what you're looking for is, what is their pinch point? What is their
And the
reason?
situation they're in.
Are they in debt arrears? Are they moving to another country?
Yeah. How
has a sale
quickly
just
they
fallen
want to
through?
sell.
Yeah. So there are so many reasons, but if all you do is look at the property and say, oh, I'm going to buy it 25% below value, you're right. Getting back to
When
deal
I hear
sources
that,
again.
oh,
There is no such
is
thing.
it BMV?
Oh, there is no bloody such thing. A price is a price is a price. And it's what you and a vendor will agree as a buyer and
exactly.
a seller. It's about problem solving and relationship building.
I'm just dealing now with the other side, which is the selling on the market, and sometimes people don't understand this analogy of the properties, that your property is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. If you believe it's worth 300k and there are only 2 buyers who will pay 280, you will never sell it for 300.
Exactly.
Because there is no one in this world who will pay it. You know, and what's happening a lot, and I've seen it, like some agents, not all of them, some brilliant agents, they price it too high, they can't sell it, then they drop in the price, just to impress the vendor that I can sell it for 300, and then suddenly they don't have any buyers for it. So it's part of the business
game.
the game we're dealing with.
The game,
but it is fun. It can be very, very rewarding, because this room is here because I've been involved in business since 2018. When I was in recruitment, obviously I was on decent salary, but it was hard to put away grand a month, or it's not easy when you have salary. But when you have business and you have those great months, it can be very, very rewarding. You can make some serious money even from sourcing, but it's not as easy as people are selling it online.
No,
it's not like you start today and you will be making $5,000 a month every single 1 month. It's not happening.
And it's not going to happen within the first 30 days. And this is another thing that people say, oh, you'll be doing, $5,000 a month in your first month. No, you won't. You're going to be a good 3 months before you get even close to getting a deal ready. Then, depending on who it is that you're selling it to, if you're selling it to an investor that's got to do funding, or an investor that's got to go through full-on conveyancing, well, that at
3-4
the moment
months.
is taking 6 months.
Yeah.
I've got 2 that I'm trying to get across the line at the moment.
I had some of them.
Oh, it's driving me nuts. One should have completed in...
The longest one I had 9 months.
Yeah, well, that's this. I've got one that the price was agreed at the beginning of June. They should have completed in August. They still haven't completed now. Not because they've done anything wrong, but because of solicitors. Sorry, but I'm having trouble with solicitors at the moment. And I've got another one doing exactly the same. And you think, just sign it. Just get it across the line.
Yeah.
So anybody that turns around and says that you can become a deal sourcer and you can be retired, well, not retiring, though a few of them do say it, within 6 months. It's just not real. And I think that's the same with any business. And often where I work with businesses that are failing, they're not technically failing, they're just still young.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still growing, and people don't understand that businesses in most cases don't actually succeed until the second or third year.
Yeah.
And most of them give up within the first year because they think, well, it's too hard because it should have been there by now. Well, it's not.
I agree.
I've set up
I set up
many
my
businesses.
limited company for sourcing 2018 May, and I started making, I say, normal money that kept me going and paid the bills end of 2019.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 years when I was selling like crazy. It was a good times. I had overseas investors, still have overseas investors, and we were selling 5, 6, 7 deals a month basically. It was the pipeline was like 40 properties in legals all the time.
And that's a wonderful position to be in.
It's very good position. With that, the refurbs were coming my way, obviously. Out of 5 sold properties, there were 2, 3 that were potential flips, or refurbish, keep and refinance. It's coming with a lot of perks as well, you know. And if
hard work as well.
Yeah, hard work, very hard work.
Yeah.
Stay on top of the sales progression when you got 40 properties in pipeline. I was doing everything myself. I was still doing 5, 6 viewings a day, packaging, sales progression, refurbs. I had always minimum 2 refurbs going at the same time. It's hard work, bloody hard work. But again, it taught me lessons, and it is who I am now. I made mistakes. I should have started letting agency much earlier than I did. I gave away probably 250 properties to other letting agents, which could be in my management now. But it is what it is. I was too busy with sales, and I was making enough money to beg for 10% management when I had bigger money on sales, because that was
a call. Is that also? I mean, leverage is something that I talk about a lot, and I think if you leverage in the right way, so paying your 10% management fee, all the while you're juggling too many balls to be able to do that yourself, I think is still a good thing.
Yeah.
As long as you recognise that somewhere down the line you're going to have that choice to make.
Yeah.
Do I want to now take the hassle that 10% is going to give me? Because you're going to get 10% in your pocket, but you're also going to be paying that out to other people that you're going to employ to actually do the management process for you, if you've got any sense, which I know you have. So that 10% doesn't quite become 10%, but there's other perks that come with it.
If you build, 100 properties in management,
then it's easier.
It's
like having kids.
There is more money,
work.
and it's residual income. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
Because you've got that whether you selling the deal or not selling the deal.
Well, perhaps we need to talk about that as well, because I don't want to manage properties. Especially HMOs, of which I've got 2 in the pipeline. So we'll talk about those later. But I think understanding that that leverage side of things is a big one for deal sourcers as well, to understand when they put the numbers together.
Yeah.
How that impacts on the structure. So what is that the whole reason you decided to do the lettings or the estate agency?
Residual income, and obviously it's to build a company that I can potentially offload in the future. That's the plan with it.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now, I'm looking for estate or letting agent. Mm-hmm. Ideally, sweet spot between 50 and 100 properties in management.
Yeah.
To link with my company.
Yeah.
And then we will implement AI softwares and potentially sell it to investor.
Sounds like a plan.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Well, I probably need
because
to
I've got too many things on the table. You know, I do this acting, which is my big passion now.
Yes.
I'm writing another book. I'm working on it with Mick Lyons. There will be podcast out with him, the guy who ran doors for 44 years. That's a big project for me because we've got a lot in common, and loyalty and respect is basically something that we believe our whole life, you know, and we just met each other, and it's like having a mentor.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can write the book with him, it's, you know, massive. It means a lot to me, and it's massive respect for me to be part of it.
Somebody with the same ethos.
Yeah, it's.
And there's not very many of us
And again,
around.
it's the universe how it works. That, you know, if you set your mind right, you will attract these people to your life, and
Yes.
everything happens for a reason.
Yep, it does. I'm a very big believer in that. I think, yes, you make your own luck to a degree.
Yeah. You have to put the work in. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. If you make decision that you will be going to 2 networking events a week, you have to go there.
Yeah.
There's no one who will wake up for you and go to BNI at 7 o'clock in the morning. You have to be there.
And
for
you
example.
have to go with a purpose. And sort of jumping back into networking on that, too many people just turn up at a networking event and don't think about why they're going.
Mm.
Well, I'm going to a networking event.
Yeah.
But what are you doing there?
Meeting
Who do you
people.
want to see? Who do you
Yeah.
want to see? What's your purpose in what's your strategy?
Mhm.
What's your networking strategy? It's the same as every other piece of marketing that you do for your business.
So you should kind of like write some goals before you
100%.
go. Even if it's
Top
2-3
tips.
sentences,
Yeah.
like, right, today I'm looking for a landlord who's got 10 properties to sell,
Yeah.
basically. That's my aim.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the world, I'm going to tell 30 people in that room, perhaps someone's got
I'm
that
looking for
person
landlords.
in there, yeah,
I'd
in,
like to
in
speak
their
to
circle.
landlords, especially those that are going to be suffering because of the Section 24 or suffering because of the new laws.
They go to Dubai, Spain, Portugal.
I'm selling 2 portfolios at the moment for landlords that want to get out, and they are both 5 million apiece. So these are big portfolios, and these are people that don't want to do it anymore.
Mm.
Well, there's a thing. But if you...
Opportunities everywhere.
There are opportunities everywhere. But if you're going to do your networking, one of the things that I would say, again, a couple of tips today. Know which networking event you're going to and make sure it's the right one for you. So research the kind of people that go there.
Mm-hmm.
Make contact with the host beforehand to find out, can you send me who's going to be there on the night, who's booked? Have a look at that list and go back to your host and say, John Smith and Jane Doe are both going to be at your networking event. Would you mind awfully when they arrive introducing me? Now, why would you do that? Because if I get to a networking event and Jane Doe arrives and the host brings Jane Doe over to me and says, Jakki, Jakki wanted to meet you, so I'm just introducing you now. Host goes away, but Jane Doe is stood there with the thought process that I've just been recommended to this person by the host. So you've been endorsed by the host. You haven't had to go up to that person and break the ice because she's there stood in front of you. Compliments of somebody else introducing and breaking the ice. And now you can have that conversation without all the preamble that goes before it. And then just make sure that afterwards you send a thank you to the host to say thank you for introducing me. And
Great tips.
a note thank you to the person that you wanted to be introduced to, aka Jane Doe. Great to meet you. When can we have a one-to-one?
Mm.
Little tips like that, little things like that make so much difference.
100% agree, because at some point, probably 1.5 years ago, I found myself wasting a lot of time. Because I would go, and I have to put my hands up, probably because I didn't have purpose. because I went to networking event just in sake of being there.
Yeah.
I didn't go with a purpose like, right, who am I looking for?
Yeah.
In most cases, I'm looking for a landlord who wants to sell, but I found myself going into rooms where there was 99 deal sources and one insurance broker, and I'm thinking myself like, fucking hell.
What am I doing
I'm
here?
just one of them. Like, where are all these investors?
Yep.
I went to London for a couple ultra high net worth individuals networking events, and there was 10 mortgage brokers, 10 insurance brokers, brokers, which is fine. Obviously, they may have these clients, but those people weren't in that room.
No, and I think that people assume that an investor has got, a big hat on that says, "Hi, I'm an investor."
Oh, label.
Exactly.
I'm an investor.
Yeah. But
I got loads of money.
Exactly.
Who wants it?
and the people that have got money are the people that you least expect.
Yeah.
They're people that have had an
100%
inheritance or
well-established businesses
dentists,
that brings
doctors.
lot of money, and they don't necessarily know that real estate is one
It's
of
an
the
option.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should put all your money in real
But
estate.
use it as a
vehicle.
one of your profit centres.
Yeah, definitely.
And things like Rotary clubs, things like charities. Go and get involved with charities, because charitable people are also the ones that have got cash to do something with.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they're going to be able to continue to be charitable is if that money's working for them.
Mm.
So they're going to want to talk to people that are going to help them keep that wealth there and help grow it.
100%.
So don't go where everybody else is. Go somewhere different. And go to a pilot's, go to the golf club, go to where you're going to feel comfortable. If you're never going to fly a plane, why would you go to a pilot's club? Because they're going to smell you a mile off.
Yeah. I love cigars, so I need to go to some places where they
There
smoke
you go,
cigars.
Cuba. There's a lot of money in Cuba.
Gentlemen's clubs, at least I've got an
Gentlemen's
excuse.
clubs. Exactly.
But there are some
whiskey clubs. There's a lot of whiskey clubs.
Even in London, the fee is like $5,000 a year to be a member. But I guess there is a certain caliber of people who are going there, who pay $5,000 a year.
Yeah, of course there is. And actually, if you look at that, one, it's tax deductible, and two, the thought process would be, if you can afford $5,000 a year, then you're one of us.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, I'll start trusting you.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll still have
you
to
do
build the
1-2 deals with
relationships.
them, and it's paid for 10 years.
Exactly. So, to me, spend your money wisely. If you're going to pay for a networking event, and I normally do, it's very rare do I go to a freebie networking event,
Mm-hmm.
because I often find that freebie networking events give free people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But if you're prepared to pay to go to a good networking event, make sure that you find one that is going to work for you. I mean, I belong to Northwest Landlords Association, and I did one of my speaking events there a few months ago on busting the myths of deal sourcing, and so far I've had 5 clients just from that one speaking event.
Yeah.
Because they're all landlords.
I've been recently to a couple BNIs, and probably the best one, I must say, was in West Horton, which is close to me, 10 minutes drive, and it's been hosted by Jen Harrison, someone I really like as a person. She's got construction company. She does extensions and stuff like that, and she created a couple of them. But this one, honestly, it was just great vibe. Food was amazing. Even those little things that made a massive difference. The presentation, the people in the room, just great vibe. I've got one-to-one booked in for next Wednesday with the guy who actually does merging and acquisition, and he does the paperwork for it, and he knows the companies for sale. So
Well, I'd like to meet him, not for any other reason, not to take your your deals away, but
I will introduce you.
I would love to, because I've got 2. I'm working on 2 projects at the moment where I'm buying a business.
Yep.
Buying 2 businesses, and having somebody that understands mergers and acquisitions and how to back into a company and certainly
He does all the
property
paperwork,
company.
basically. His company is solicitor company that does all the paperwork. But apart from that, he bought a business himself.
Yep.
Knowing the process. And in most cases, they structure great deals.
Well, it's no different to what we do with property.
Some of them no money down.
Yeah. It's no
Because
different.
they will create some strategy which works for the seller. Seller, for example, stays in a company as a shareholder with 25% or whatever, and they pay them over the time.
Over a period. And I'm working on one at the moment, which is somebody who's got a number of properties. They're all owned personally at the moment, but they're going to get whopped with capital gains tax. Absolutely whopped. But what we're looking to do, what I'm looking to advise them to do, and this is where I need a really, really good tax lawyer because it's quite complex, but is to take those properties into the business or into a business. That makes a huge difference on the value of capital gains because they don't pay capital gains with it going into the business, and then they pay their capital gains or corporation tax as would be on the value when they sell their shares of the company. So it's a completely different process. Yeah. It mitigates the likes of capital gains hugely, as well as stamp duty. So where they could end up at the moment with selling the properties, pay £1 million worth of capital gains, they'll probably only pay about 100,000.
I don't know why, but recently I'm more excited about businesses than property, actually.
Funny you should say that.
Honestly, I'm so excited when we
now.
talk about the businesses, because any type of business.
Try and make sure, if you're going to, knowing that you're a property man as well, like me, or property woman, but you're not one of those. When you're looking for businesses to buy businesses that have got property.
With assets.
With assets,
of course.
Because if you buy a business that's got the property, then you've got in effect two bites of the cherry.
Yeah.
Because you can hive off the property into one business, the business into the other business, grow the one, keep the other, grow that one differently. So I would always look to see if you can get a business that's got property in it.
Some assets.
I am buying a business right here, right now, and we will be announcing that one, and it is to do with deal sourcing. So, and it's to do with an online platform. So I will be relaunching that hopefully within the next month.
People will share the deals in there?
People will share the deals, investors will share the purchasing of, and we will just let
you take a cut?
I just take not a cut per se, but it's a fee for
membership.
Putting a membership and putting properties on, and then I can just let people. If I take a fee on each one, then this gets back to the compliance of me having to make sure that I'm anti-money laundering everybody. I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking for it, in effect, to be a...
Do you still have to check deals randomly? Like,
I will,
if they stack
I will
up
vet deals. I will make sure that they do stack up. I will also
you don't want
people...
these idiot sources to sell deals there,
No pictures of Rightmove and nothing else. No, I will also be looking at the deal sources, and I will be encouraging them to join NAPSA. I will be pushing my deal sourcing training on there, because I want people that are coming on there to be serious about it as a business, not just playing at it, and therefore I want them to learn it properly.
It can be a great business.
Yeah, it can be.
It was so rewarding to me because I took it seriously, But the fact is, you need to have that pot of investors, and you need to put effort into finding the properties. These days, most of the properties that I've got on my table are purely from my network.
100% same again.
From landlords. I don't even go out and do the leaflets or anything like that. It's just people messaging me on daily basis. Martin, I've got this one. This is the deal. This is the purchase price. Can we do something with it?
That's exact.
That's the position you want to be in.
Network again. It is the position you want to be in, and whether or not it's networking with the estate agents or whether or not it's networking with the wider audience, the more you network, the more investors will come to you, and the more buyers will come to you, and funnily enough, the more deal sourcers will come to you to say, I've got this property and I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I co-source with people as well.
I do
help
as
other
well. I
people.
made a lot of money with JV partnerships.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I had properties that I couldn't sell because they didn't tick boxes for my clients.
For your investors.
But there was a guy who turned it into HMO. He put housing provider in it, and it worked well for him.
Yep.
You know, so I'm a big fan of collaboration.
I am. I don't see anyone as competition. They either become a client or a supplier or both.
Not at all.
So yeah.
Even if we do the same, you know, I don't. I take inspiration from the others. I don't watch them. You know, what does it make difference in my life if I'm going to be thinking about someone? I've got, I don't know, at the moment close to 20 properties in management. There are companies out there who have thousands. What would it change in my life if I was thinking about them? Oh, they've got 1,000. I will only limit myself because I'm comparing myself to someone else.
Yeah, the wrong people. And the other thing is, that company that's got 2,000 houses, there's going to be some houses that they're not going to be able to manage.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen?
And there is probably about 15 people managing it.
Yeah,
you know?
And if you're working with them, then who are they going to call if it's something that's outside their remit? Martin, do you want this one?
Yeah.
And same the other way around. You know, if you got a block that you couldn't manage in a certain area, why wouldn't you pass it to somebody else? Because that means that they'll pass stuff to you as well. We're all different. We're all got different niches. And if you work together, you get so much more.
I agree. What's your main operational area in the UK?
Mainly Northwest.
Northwest.
However, I'm doing more and more and more in Sussex again now because, as my voice probably tells you, well, probably doesn't tell you, but I am a Sussex born and bred lass. I married a Scouser, so I spent 30 years southernising him, and now he's getting his own back. So we lived down there for a long time. We're now living up here. So yes, Northwest is the area that I cover mainly. I have a property that we did up, which was actually for my mother, who sadly died last year. But we personally, my other half and I, would take the 5-hour trip down there, spend weekends down there, and lovingly restore and refurb that one for her. That's just about to go on the market now. So we've got that, and because of that, I know the area very well. We've also got property in Chichester in Sussex. We're about to buy a property in Portsmouth in Sussex because my son is still down there and he's involved in the property business as well. So he will manage the ones down there. He does most of the research anyway, whether it's up here or down there. I'll get past businesses, I'll get past properties, and I send them down to him and say, crack on. So he's our personal VA. Okay. But no, he does most of the research, most of the comparables, checks all the numbers, makes sure that everything stacks. But yeah, he's looking to do more and more on the actual buying and the management. So
thinking about leaving UK for the better lifestyle? Picture yourself in Cyprus. Sunshine, sea views, and slower pace of life will help you to find your dream home on this beautiful island. I don't want to lead this podcast negative way, but can we just touch on trades, please?
Oh yeah, why not?
Because I guess we both have some bitter experience with tradesmen and people doing the refurbs and...
Oh yes.
What's your experience?
What's my experience? Very mixed. I've got some really, really good trades.
Yep.
And I've had some really, really shit trades. I've literally just recently, the property we've literally just finished and put on the market for one of our investors, we got halfway through that and parted company with the builder on that. He was very good at the hack and bash, ripping it all out. And
they always do.
The heavy stuff.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good at that. When it came
they always
to
do
the
great
finesse,
rip-outs, you know, but then...
But he was supposed to be a bloody decorator.
Okay.
But we won't go there. He's not a decorator. I won't publicly say any names, but he's not a decorator. And to be fair, I ended up... And it was quite frustrating because we were due to finish And I'd booked a holiday that would have been like a month after we'd finished the project. And a week and a half before, we parted company. And I'm stood in this house thinking, I won't swear, what the hell do I do now? And this is where networking comes in. Because I was stood there, I was should have been ready for the carpet fitter to come in the following day. And I phoned him, who I met through networking. And he came in and he looked at the place and said, "You're nowhere near ready for me, Jack." I know I'm not. Help. He got on the phone to one of his contacts, Dan, and within an hour, Dan and Aaron had turned up, two of his contacts, his friends, and within a week, we'd got everything sorted, ready for them to, they knew exactly what they needed to do whilst I was away, and I could leave that house knowing
in a good
that
hands.
they were just going to get on with it. So that's the good and bad in one single property
in one project.
Recently. Literally, October. So, and that's the power of networking as well. I would not have been able to get those people if I didn't have the network I have.
So
And
as a part of the deal sourcing course, do you also suggest people to do due diligence on the builders as well? Because I think it's very important. I've seen so many unfinished projects, scams, where people literally took big amounts, 50, 60K, and it should be close to completion, and it was at the rip-out stage.
Yeah, don't pay up front.
I've seen many of these.
I've seen too many. And
I've seen videos where they send the video and progress pictures from the different site.
Different property. Yep.
Or I've seen one, this was a good one. I'm walking into the room and everything was plasterboarded. They did dot and dab, but there were no switches, no sockets, no light.
Oh my God.
There was no light. It was just a flat ceiling, flat walls. Everything was flat, and there was no points for socket, and this was HMO. And I'm thinking myself, like, what the fuck is this? I've seen many different ones, but this one was like,
that takes the cake.
Where the hell is light? I just wanted to put the light on because it was dark, obviously, and
that's a fundamental
honestly,
mistake or incompetence.
They literally were taking the pictures and with videos because clean plasterboard looks good on the pictures, you know. Dot and dab, that's another stage. We need another payment, another 30% or whatever.
Well, this is one of the things that I do cover in the training is not just I mean, we all get it wrong as well. I mean, the builder that we parted company with was recommended to me, and it came as a referral, funnily enough, from BNI, and it happens to the best of us. One of the things that I do say is be on site, if not every day, at least every other day, because if you're not on site every day or every other day, you're not going to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you are
if
project
you
managing
it too long,
leave it a week, and you've lost a week.
Yep.
Straight away.
You're a week behind.
Because builders, bless their hearts, trades, unless you find somebody who is really good,
trustworthy, and
their business more than anything, you don't get the same buy-in. You don't get the same sense of urgency. What we try to do is make sure we can move people to the next job, the next job, the next job. Not always possible, but if you can do that, build your team. But you've got to build a trustworthy team.
Yeah.
I've got a trustworthy team. I've now got some extra people that will do a few more for me moving forward. We've got 3 in conveyancing right here, right now, that they will take over as soon as they come out of conveyancing. I'm still going to test them because I've only used them once, so I'm still going to test them. But from the conversations we've had, the meetings we've had, the sit-down strategy meetings, one of the first things I ask is, how do you manage the project at the beginning? How do you start up? And if I get the right answer, as in, well, we do a project plan, we have schedule of works, we have schedule of costs, how do you get paid? Well, we'll normally invoice weekly or preferably fortnightly, because it makes it easier for us. Right, you've got the job. So it's that people that understand what is needing to be done, knowing that they've got to have a schedule and they've got to have that list of works.
Yeah.
If you're doing it off the back of a fag packet or a cigar packet,
That's the quote.
That's even worse. It's so trades. We had one that went bust. We were doing a 3-story property that we were loft converting, and luckily we were pretty much right at the end of it, but we'd sort of taken the whole roof off, put Velux windows in, literally gutted the place, turned it upside down, so the kitchen was downstairs but the lounge was on the middle floor, master bedroom upstairs, and he went bust. And just after we'd paid him a tranche for the Velux windows and all of the stuff. So what we do now, the expensive stuff. So what we do now, and what we advise, is if you can build up your own trade accounts with companies, is
get your own
material. Buy it, and then you buy it for the tradesman. They can go in and buy, but you give the list of what's needed to whoever it is, Howdens or B&Q or Wren or whoever it is, so that they can buy, but you know what they're buying.
Yeah.
And I just charge a cost plus to do that to my investors, to say, I'll do that, I'll manage all of that. It's easier for them. It helps their cash flow, because I just invoice them once a week for everything that's been done that week. But it's done on the invoicing on work that's been done.
Yeah.
Not future.
No.
So the minute a builder says to you, I want 50 grand up front, go find another builder.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Cost me a lot of money.
I was going to say, what's your...
I had to change many of them, and, if I was talking about my bad experience, we would be probably here till tomorrow.
There's some good ones as well, though.
The thing is, you have to test someone to find out who they are, because some of them, they can talk. And they look professional. They turn up with a van with, nice advertisement on it. They've got professional tools. So I would say, ask for recommendation, because if someone used them twice and they are happy, there is very little chance that, they will do a bad job for you. But I had to test them.
Yeah.
I had to find them in the groups, property groups. I'm in couple WhatsApp groups where there is 300 people, Manchester, some Liverpool, just Northwest.
Some of the same groups
basically.
as well, yeah.
They're helpful, because if some investor who's using certain electrician all the time recommend him, there is very little chance there will be any problem. I used them, they did the work, they got paid, that's it. But yeah, beginning was the toughest one, to be honest with you. To find out that this is actually not enjoyable part of the business, because of dealing with idiots.
That should be the enjoyable part.
Yeah, because I always loved the finished products. Yeah. I always loved, I loved this podcast room when it was finished, but to get it to that stage, do I need to tell them that there is caulk missing around the skirting boards? And nah.
That's the bit that I love. I would project manage a build every day of the week if I could.
Right.
I absolutely love it. I love seeing the transformation.
Transformation is great, yeah.
I think if you've got the right team, it should be enjoyable.
Yeah.
The only other thing I would caveat with good people is, if they're good and they keep getting recommendations, they've got to keep up with those recommendations. And
with
I
the
have
standards
found a couple as well. where they've grown a bit too fast. We've given them lots of work, and then they've taken on other work, and then they couldn't handle, and they didn't scale up big enough.
That's what happened to me a couple of times. I had an experience with one Warrington builder. this was like four projects in. So he would finish 4 projects for us. This was the 5th one, yeah. So I trust him 100%.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
So I gave him money for materials, for most of the materials. It was like, I think it was like 9 grand or 7.5 grand. But I didn't know that he had other probably 5 projects running apart from my big one in Salford for my client. And we never seen the money. We had to get other builders, pay from the company, money to finish the project from our own pocket, because obviously client already paid.
Absolutely, you can't go back to a client and say, look, well,
there was a quote. You can, but
I don't.
Again,
because that's
I
my
don't.
integrity coming out.
Exactly.
Is if I've given you a budget that we're going to work to.
If I told you it's going to cost you 35 grand, it's going to be 35 grand.
Exactly, because
that's it.
I've brought the trades in. They're my people.
Yeah.
And if my people screw up,
and you as a project manager, you are taking the responsibility for
Absolutely.
it. This is your role.
Yeah.
But this is what I've seen project managers not taking that responsibility.
I've seen
the shit hit fan, and they
nothing
just
to do with me,
nothing to do with me. It's a builder. He ran away.
Yeah,
you know.
But he was your
I
builder.
can finish it for you. I can bring in other builders.
Yeah.
But it's already cost me 12 grand.
If you brought that builder in, it's your responsibility.
100%.
That's
I agree.
my view. That's back to the integrity again, though, isn't
integrity, loyalty, and keeping your word.
Yeah. I would say the couple that I did have that got themselves overstretched. My learning from the first one was keep close.
Yeah.
Keep close to your team. Make sure you meet with your team regularly.
Yep.
So that you understand where they are, what they're doing. Can they cope?
I made that mistake that I wasn't going on site every day. I went in a week time and I'm thinking myself, it's the same.
Nobody's done anything.
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
There was little change. We put some RSJ in that house because we were doing open plan. But I'm looking around, I'm thinking myself, like, weeks gone. There's no progress.
Yeah.
Like, what the
and
fuck is going on?
If you know you've
but
got
then,
8 to 12 week
unfortunately, it's too late.
Yes, it is.
To
You've
catch
already
up.
Lost the week now.
Then you overextend the deadline, and it costs more because we both know that time is a money, especially in a building trade. When someone is paid day rates, for example.
I don't do day rates.
I don't anymore.
I don't do day. There's another tip, guys. Don't do day rates.
Yeah. Because you will find them walking around the site with 10 coffees a day and 5 teas.
Yeah. No, I don't do day rates
Something
anymore.
that could be plastered in a day, it's plastered in 3 days,
I think also that's a very good point. You've just said something that could be plastered in a day. If you don't know the building trade, and this is another thing with a number of deal sources out there, and other investors as well and landlords, if you don't know the process of a build, if you don't know how long it's going to take to plaster a room, if you don't know how long it should take a plumber to move a boiler, or roughly what the cost would be for a plumber to move a boiler, you're knackered.
Yes, 100%.
You have to know and understand, and if you don't know that, get on site with your builder, put your steel toe caps on, put your hat on, and get in there and be a totally obedient moron for that builder for however long it takes to do that build.
You need to understand the process.
That you can then understand it for the next one.
It helped me a lot in sourcing as well, because I was walking to the property and I was able to estimate the cost of refurb.
Yep.
Close to, I would say, pounds.
Yes.
If I said it's going to be 4.5 grand what we need to spend here, it was 4.5 grand or less.
And that's exactly. I mean, the one we've just done. I told them, okay, this is what it's going to be. It's 150k to buy it. Its value will be 230 once done. We're going to spend 35 grand on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and come in at 30.
Yeah.
But we've got a trampoline for a floor in the lounge, so I know that we've got to do some hefty joint work, timber work, which as you walk round. We've got to put damp proof in. It's got this, it's got that. We came in at 32,600 and something.
Brilliant, love it.
Went on the market for offers over 240. which I'm happy with. But I would expect that we'll get probably around about 235. So you've got to know those numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just the numbers of the value of the
you know,
property.
when I see, not a lot these days, but there was a certain time when I saw a lot of 5k refurbs online from the sources, and I'm thinking myself, and some of them, honestly, if you know what you're doing, and if you ever done any refurb, and I'm talking the basic refurb, let's say new kitchen, new bathroom, plastering the walls, painting, put the new floor in, basics, without rewire, windows are still okay. If they say, 5k, and I ask the question, like, what's in the 5k? New kitchen, plastering, and new floor. I'm thinking myself, for fuck's sake. Because I went to Howden's, and the basic white gloss landlord's kitchen materials cost me $3,500.
Exactly that. I was just
that's just materials. That's probably not even with the splashbacks.
Yep.
That's just pure, building kitchen, white gloss, the basic one with basic handles, and I'm thinking myself, 5k. I pay minimum 2k for painting 2-3 bed house.
Yep, easily.
Like where these fucking numbers are coming from.
If you're
like,
looking at a three bed terrace or semi, you're going to be looking between 2 and 4. I would say around about 3,000 to 4,000 for the decoration alone.
Yeah, 100%.
The kitchen.
And again, it all depends on the state of it, and whether they have to strip some wallpaper and plaster it. But these numbers are killing me. Like when I see it.
It will buy your kitchen. Hopefully, it will get it installed and it'll get it painted. That's about it. Move on to the next rooms. It's going to cost you $1,500, $2,000 just to put the floor down.
Yeah, 100%.
Depending on what floor you go for.
Yeah.
And that's basic bog standard.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to walk around each room, jot down what needs to be done, how many sockets need to be moved, because that's what most people forget. It's got 3 sockets in the house. Well, that's not going to get you anywhere, is it? You're going to need sort of 3 to 4 in every room.
Yeah.
You're going to need to move them.
And again, what strategy are you using? Are you targeting the end buyer who is the first time buyer, or you're going to let it? Is it buy to let?
Yep. So if it's
is it Airbnb?
You can go for your standard low value white MR double sockets. But if you're doing a flip, they've got to be some nice ones.
Yeah.
They can still be white, but you might want to actually upgrade them a little bit. Well, okay, that's only going to add £1 a socket, but if you're doing 4 sockets in every room, that soon adds up. And it's those bits that people forget. And the other thing that people forget, the other thing that people forget is the cost of timber and plasterboard.
Yeah.
It's
materials.
It's gone up over a third. We were doing one during COVID. I was down in Portsmouth, or Horsham, Sussex, and doing a property in Portsmouth. My other half was doing the property we'd just bought in Morecambe. We bought both of them in December, and then COVID hit in the March. So
plaster was called golden dust.
Honestly, I was one of the workers that, because I was in packaging and everybody had gone online, I was one of those workers that was allowed out and about. And I remember B&Q, Screwfix, Trade Point, all of them had limited bags of plaster to 2 bags per person, and you had to queue for an hour and a half to get them. But I was going round on a Saturday. I was going from B&Q to Screwfix to Trade
everywhere
Point in 3 or 4 different towns, just to get enough to be able to
finish work.
What we were doing. It was a nightmare. But prices came down a little bit. But they've never gone back to what they were. Proportionately, I wouldn't expect them to go back to the price they were, but they haven't gone down proportionately to the price that they should be, based on what we used to spend on a refurb. And I think to a degree, and sort of flitting backwards and forwards between property and networking, but I think they are so interlinked. And you said recommendation. And it's back to that recommendation. If you've got relationships with the right people and you're moving in the right networking circles, when you're in a fix, like I was a few weeks ago, you can pick up the phone and say, help, because you've got the right people to say help too.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the networking side that will give you the best recommendations and the best referrals. It does go wrong.
Yeah, in some cases, but
when I look at, going right the way back to when we first started the conversation, our friendly fraudster was given to us by the bank. Recommendation. So one of the things...
Was he independent, that
guy? He was independent.
Okay.
But he'd done work for them before.
Okay.
But they hadn't done their due diligence on him either. He'd done a good job with that one. But we found out later that he'd also taken them for money. So
you weren't the first victim?
No, we weren't
and
the
the
first
last
victim.
one probably not.
And we know we're not the last one. But we did try to stop that one. But we won't go into names and backtrail there. That's definitely not. But I failed there, and I did fail because I took his CV that the bank had given me and he'd given me, and I took it on face value because he'd been recommended to us by the bank.
Was he a nice person?
He was nice enough. Yeah, he was nice enough.
Nice enough to sell it?
He was nice enough to sell himself.
Mm-hmm.
When I actually did the due diligence on his CV after the event, I found out that he wasn't one of the directors of John Lewis, that the highest he'd ever managed to get to was managing the menswear shop floor in Oxford Street. And when I contacted BAE, who he was also allegedly on the board of, I found that he'd basically been an office clerk.
Okay.
So just because
somebody... So he was lying on his CV as well?
Yeah, he was lying on his CV. It's legal. It is illegal to lie on your CV. Don't tell that to the MPs because they do it all the time, apparently. We won't go there either. But referrals can go wrong as well if you do not do your due diligence. It's back to due diligence.
Definitely. Do your due diligence, ideally with the builders, to know someone who completed a couple projects with them. But as we know, if you have a good builder, you don't want to give it to anyone.
Yes and no. Funnily enough, Mark Doyle, who's property, big in essays. I don't know if you know Mark. He was a mentor, is a mentor I think still of Progressive Property, but he's based up in Preston, and we work together. I'm just sent him over a few properties for him to have a look at, because he's looking for serviced accommodation all the time. He converts sort of 3-bed terraces and semis, but I can't remember where I was. Oh yeah, I passed over to him. He was desperate for a decorator really quickly, so I passed him one of my team for the decorator. And I did say to him, as long as it doesn't impact on my job, I haven't got a problem you going over 100%.
There. I'm the same. As long as it doesn't interfere with my project, it's fine.
Yeah, he was doing over there.
I'm more than happy to help because I know that they will do the good job.
I also know that helping Mark, I know that if I ever need anything, I get on the phone to Mark, and Mark will jump through fiery hoops for me. And the reason for that is because he knows I do the same the other way around.
Yeah.
And passing him somebody that for me it was irrelevant. It was just a nothing almost, but for him it made his life so much easier. Yeah. Because as part of his network, I'd managed to solve his problem, which is what it's all about.
At Rainbow Northwest, we make real estate effortless. Whether you're looking to sell on the market, off market through our exclusive investor database, or via auction, we've got you covered. Plus, we offer top-notch property and project management, including refurbishment for investors. We can help you to build your own portfolio. Let us help you on your real estate journey. Rainbow Northwest, your trusted real estate business partner. Question that I ask every single one guest: is loyalty important to you?
Oh, absolutely. One of the top things, and I've been bitten by that. Again,
same here.
in our business, a couple of stories there, but one of them, somebody who'd worked with and for us that had been part of our family for many, many years. and we'd tasked him. He was a commercial director, and we had tasked him with negotiating with a company for, in effect, a big joint venture. And instead of doing that, he negotiated himself a different job with them to go and set up in competition about
No way.
3 streets away. That was one of the hardest things for me to get my head round. I am a very loyal person. Don't break it, but I am a very loyal person. I don't get mad, I get even. But that breach of trust, that breach of honesty, that breach of loyalty, oh my God, that hit me so hard. And you sit there and you think, how can somebody do that? How can they do that? The fraud was one thing. That was somebody that was a total stranger.
Yeah.
Came in.
Just a scammer.
And
he came in with
yeah.
with the purpose, and he definitely knew what the plan was.
He knew what he was going to do. He would spend 3 to 4 months befriending, making sure that he could get his feet under the table, and then knew that the next 3 to 4 months was going to be screwing us out of every penny he could get. So we knew that he had a 10, 12-month game plan. We managed to catch it within the 8 months. God knows where he would have taken us otherwise. That, funnily enough, was easier to reconcile in my head than the person I had known for 15 years, who I'd trained, I'd taken on at the age of 16, built him up to be our commercial director, and then he did what he did to us. That, for me, was one of the hardest things I've ever had to take in business. So, yes, loyalty is very, very, very... Had another one, same business. We were making some people redundant. This was after all the
Restructure.
SH1T. And we had a choice between 2 people, and one of them, to me, was more valuable to be able to take the business forward with their sales, with their contacts and their network. So we made the other one redundant. And the one that wasn't made redundant went off on one because why don't you make me redundant? You've got this, that and the other, no integrity and all the rest of it. I couldn't understand what this was all about. Even wrote to me, walked out the door and wrote to me about the lack of my integrity. I couldn't understand it. Well, I found out 3 weeks later because her and this other one that we'd made redundant had actually set up their own business at one point we were doing team kit for the likes of the Royal Navy, Royal Army and what have you, and clothing. And they'd gone and set up
their own,
expecting to be made redundant.
Both of them.
So what she was pissed off over was the fact that one of them got the redundancy payment, she wasn't being made redundant, which meant she couldn't go and do this business.
Get it.
So she was questioning my integrity
because there was a
having
check she expected.
Already broken her integrity. And that was I wasn't mad at that one, I was just incredulous. The first one I was angry, upset, hurt.
Yeah.
That one I was just totally incredulous. How can you question somebody else's integrity when yours is so obviously so bad? So come on, give me some of yours. I'm giving you some of mine.
Many people, many in recruitment. When I was climbing a ladder in recruitment, I went from warehouse operative, and I could see that some people couldn't digest that, I'm doing well. I became a supervisor, then I became account manager, then contract manager, then I was
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, in charge of probably 6 warehouses, a senior contract manager. So many people couldn't digest it, but I've seen so many. This wasn't about the money. It was more about talking behind your back, trying to trying to break your reputation, sabotage with shitty things that weren't true. But one thing I mentioned in my book, if you create your reputation, you are creating like an armor around you. And there is very little that these rats and snakes can do to that, because they can't go through it.
Yeah.
Because you created something around you. If I'm that positive, I can give you my phone, and you can ring any person from that phone, or anyone who ever did business with me. There is always just positive feedback from them. I'm that positive. And anyone in the world, in the UK, back home in Slovakia, there is no person that I owe 1p. That's where my confidence is coming from. It's from results, and it's from that aura that I created around myself as an armor, which is the reputation. Because it's so important, in my opinion. And going back to your answer, there was many of these fuckers who were trying to, get my position, or they weren't happy that I advanced to be a supervisor and they still had to walk on the shop floor, but they didn't see the fact that I was doing 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I was doing those extra miles. For example, when I became a supervisor, we were working 2 shifts. There was morning shift and afternoon shift. An afternoon shift was finishing 11 p.m. From 2 to 11, something like that. It doesn't matter. Then the night shift supervisor is supposed to be coming. But a couple times happened that he wasn't coming. And I was the only supervisor on afternoon shift who stayed and added 3 hours. I missed my last train because I lived in Bolton that time, and it was the train from West Houghton. So I had to get a taxi, paid it from my own cost. I didn't get it paid, which cost me definitely more than those 3 hours that I was working there, because at that time, I don't know, minimum was $6.50 or something like that. So, those little things people didn't see, what it cost me, my time, my work, and everything to build that around me. But my advice to people out there is that once you build your reputation, there is very little what other people can do to you.
I 100% agree. And this is coming back to what we were saying about confidence as well.
Yeah.
You have to have confidence in you.
There's difference between confidence and cockiness.
Yes.
Confidence is backed up with results. Yeah. Cockiness, being cocky, is being overly confident, but there is nothing behind you. Yeah. It's empty. Yeah, you haven't achieved anything. You haven't got results to lean on. Yeah. That's the difference. And many people are cocky. They look to be confident, but they're not confident.
But they're the ones that they're the sabotagers. They're the snakes, the rats.
Yeah.
They sabotage and they are cocky because of the fact that they know they can't do what you've done.
Yeah. There was many other examples, but this was just a few in corporate world. When I've seen people, I've seen people. That's why probably it wasn't for me.
Wasn't for me.
And I was reading more and more books, and I was fulfilled with information. Like you said, when you took those courses about the sourcing and property, you had enough information to do it. Yeah. You just had to execute on it basically, and put it in action. So I was the same. I was walking on the shop floor 2016, 2 years before I was made redundant. I took redundancy because it was just the right time. I asked myself, okay, this is what you were looking for. This is the opportunity. Let's do it.
That's it. It's knowing which opportunities to take.
Yeah.
It's looking, when I was saying earlier about you make your own luck, yes, up to a point you do, but what you've got to be doing is looking at the opportunities, because that's where the making your luck comes 100%.
In. 100%. Same with this podcast. I had an idea, I want to do it. I had a vision how I want it. Yep. This is exactly how I seen it. Love it. And, I just had to take it into action and start. Yes, I had limited limitations in my mind, limited beliefs or whatever we call them, that I'm Slovakian, I've got accent, how will people perceive it? Is it going to be delivered well? And hey ho, I've got 6 episodes out, I've got 8 recorded, and I've got another 8 brilliant guests coming, you know? So
and your Slovakian is a damn sight better. Your English is a damn sight better than my Slovakian. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
But I mean, your English is exceptionally good. And I know when you said when you first arrived you didn't speak English properly. So all power.
I was
to you.
dedicated to learn, because I knew that, look, once I learn this, I can do better. And that was true.
You just said it again. I was dedicated to doing it. You'd made a decision, you'd got your strategy, and you executed on it. And that's where the rats and snakes, they want it, but they're not prepared to put the effort in to get there.
So, talking about rats and snakes, I've got something that you will love it. And you're more than welcome to join me if you want to. That's your penny, and I will explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. So, One Penny Club with this beautiful rat on it. It's imaginary club of cheap fuckers. Okay.
Oh.
By cheap, I mean people with no morals.
Yes.
People you described, and unfortunately, you had to meet on your journey as well. People who have no issue to steal money from you and look in the mirror in the morning. People who will stab you in the back in corporate world, and
I've still got a few knives left there.
It's normal for them. So I usually unfortunately, I have to say there is a lot of builders in it because it cost me a lot of money. But this episode, because you are showing people how to source properly and you want to help people, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm not going to name anyone, but I'm going to do it in a general. For me, today, I want to put all these cheap deal sources who are making a bad name to us professionals who work with investors, who delivered projects, who did the refurbs the right way, who sold many properties, and our investors or clients were able to make money on them.
Yep.
I've got sales now that I sold 2019, and I'm selling it on the market. Repeated business. Why?
Okay.
Because I build relationships.
Yep.
And this is what these cheap fuckers don't understand, who are taking the screenshots and sending it to us and asking for 2-3k fees for a screenshot of the front of the property, and there is not even an address. So all the cheap deal sources, welcome to my One Penny Club, you cheap fuckers.
And I'll second that.
Brilliant.
We'll fill that jar. I could fill that jar with
Let's
deal
not
sources.
name anyone, some of the episode I had to name certain people, but I always just say the first name. They know who they are. They're not going to watch this podcast because it's not on their wavelength. They're not surrounded with positive people like I am. They're not progressing in the life like we are. Unfortunately, sometimes in life you have to just cut some people off. All those people who take the energy and sabotage your journey.
You're right. Where they take the energy. Where I said earlier, I don't get mad, I get even. I don't literally get even, but in my mind, it is. I am now going to not waste any time on you.
Yeah.
I am not going to allow that anger, that angst, that hurt to linger.
Because it works against you.
It does.
You take your energy and your power wrong way.
Yeah.
Where you
They
could
know
focus
what
on
they've
your
done.
own journey. Yeah, of
Absolutely,
course they know.
what they've done. They don't care. And quite a few people, when we went through the fraud, kept saying, "But I don't understand how he could do that." I said, "Well, you never will, because you're not built that way. Your head, your brain doesn't work in that same way. So what's the point of you trying to spend all that time
Understand
trying
different
to understand
personality.
something that you'll never understand?"
Yeah. They got the different personality traits as well,
Yeah.
They're not built like us.
They're not.
So,
They're not.
Jakki, it's been absolute pleasure. I think it was great chat, and many people will have some positive inspiration from it. Tell the people in the end, please, where they can find you. LinkedIn, Facebook.
LinkedIn,
If someone wants to reach out, if someone wants help, either with investing, sourcing, how to be deal
expert
packager,
networker.
the expert networker as well, about the networking.
I'm on LinkedIn, Jakki Shorrock. That's probably the quickest way to find me.
Yep.
Because there aren't many Jakki Shorrocks out there. It's an easy name to find. I have my websites, which is FAHH Properties.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a mouthful. For those who want to know, it's from Flats, Apartments, Houses, Homes. But that's a bit of a mouthful to tell everyone.
Okay.
And my networking is Fast Track Networking.
Where you teach people how to network properly.
Where I teach people how to network properly. And we have a community there. We have got the Fast Track Networking, the Expert Networker community.
Brilliant.
We've got the weekly webinar starting in... we were going to start it mid-December. I'm going to leave that now till January.
Yeah.
We've got the networking.
Nothing
group
happens in
starting
December.
January. No, absolutely. But we have got training starting, and if anybody wants any mentoring, coaching on either how to be a compliant deal sourcer or how to become a network expert, then
reach out. Thank you so much. It's been absolute pleasure.
I really
and
enjoyed
I really
it.
loved it.
Really enjoyed it.
Thinking about leaving UK for the better lifestyle? Picture yourself in Cyprus. Sunshine, sea views, and slower pace of life will help you to find your dream home on this beautiful island.